Hi there. This is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my art room. And it's lovely to have you join me. Very exciting to see so many people. And today I thought I really want to get on to finishing off my box. Well, I'm not going to finish it today, but I want to work on it. And while I'm not going to work on the construction of the panels, what I'm going to work on today is another quirky bird, because I felt like he just needed a friend. And the inspiration that I got for these quirky birds was from the actual embroidery itself. So throughout the houses, there are these funny little bird shapes. They're tiny. Not something that's clearly visible, but it gave me the inspiration. So here's a little guy peeking over the top of the house here. Oh, chickadee on the clothesline. Another one dressed up as a scarecrow here. And I thought, it just needs, they're all a little bit quirky, and I thought it really needs to be quirky, not too realistic. But I love doing fabric collage and using teeny tiny little scrappy bits to get what I want. And so, yeah, I thought today I might come and talk to you about that. While I'm going away, I'd like to take this with me and get some work done on it. I'm just going down to my friends for a couple of days. The boys need to work on the car, and Willie and I thought we could spend some time stitching or doing something, but if I've got it with me, then I can work on it. She'll be probably working on hers. So I've had a play with some shapes, and so this was just something I did. I didn't really consider size or anything else, but I thought this time I will consider size. So I sort of gave myself a bit of a space to work on, and I thought, one little guy, he's sort of facing front on. He's got to have legs. I've got to embroider those when he's ready to go down. But I thought one little guy on an angle so that we can see his tail feathers, just, something different. So this is the way I'm doing it. I've had a little sketch out, so I'll give myself that sort of shape. And what I'm using is the leftover linen from the houses, because I've cut them out. They all are on a panel like this, so I've got this one ready to get cut out. But these bits of linen around here I'm keeping. Precious, nice quality linen. I backed it before I started the embroidery, which just gives me a bit of extra something to to stabilize the fabric while I'm embroidering it. Different if I'm just cutting it out, but as it's embroidering, it just needs that little bit of stability. And this was a iron-on thing that came with the kit. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. It's fiddly work. It requires a little bit of patience, but because it doesn't have to be too detailed, I don't have to worry too much about getting it accurate. I think that's what I want to say. So yeah, so this is the way I go about it. It would be good if I found paper scissors. Oh yes, these are the ones. I bought these while I was away, so I'm keeping that label on it so I remember that I wanted them for paper. Yep, and so I'm just cutting a basic outline so that I know where I'm going when I'm laying down little bits of fabric. I've gathered some bits of scratchy old lace, and mostly I'm using the same fabrics that I'm using on the rest of the project, just so they go together. There's a little wing there. So yeah, that was my nothing that I had to trace around. I did this basic sort of, oval sort of, elongated oval sort of shape, worked out where I think the eyes might go, and a beak, a wing here, and another wing sticking out the side here. So what I'm going to use is just my iron off pen, so that if I'm really not happy about it, I can alter the shape of it. Yeah, so that's me. We're all good here. It's a very sunny day today. It's cold. I've had some freezing cold weather, freezing mornings, just white ice everywhere. Frost, not ice, frost. We don't get ice as such, although my car likes to tell me that it might be icy on the road. But it's, yeah, it doesn't snow down this low where we are. My daughter and her kids are all hoping for a bit of snow there up where they are. They're at the base of a mountain that does get snow on it. And so, yeah, they're keeping their fingers crossed. Funny little kids. All right, so that's the top of his head. I know his eye can stick out a bit. He's got, his tummy comes around down here, because that's going to be his wing there. And his tummy can come around here. He's going to have his tail feathers sticking up, and then his wing is sort of like in here somewhere. I haven't, like I said, I didn't have a picture to trace off. I just kind of, went with a bit of cartoony sort of shape and thought that will probably do. Yep. What I did with this one is that I might take him off here just so you can see. After I'd added all the little bits of fabric, I outlined him because he kind of did a disappearing act. So, yeah, they're near enough similar size. I've left all this bit of the linen around the outside edge prior to stitching on, because I wasn't sure whether I was going to turn it over and do a bit of needle turn applique, which will help protect it a little bit, or whether I can get away with, trimming it up a little bit closer and then invisible stitching him down. I'm yet to make that decision. So, yep, this is how I've got about it. I've got a bit of scratchy old lace stuff that I thought I might use, and I've got the fabrics that I'm using in the rest of my in the rest of the panels that I thought I would use as well. So, yeah. Cool. All right. So this one has got this darker blue fabric with the pink flowers. So I thought in the kit we had these little bits, and I thought the paler one might be nice to go with it for his overall tummy kind of shape. I'll have slightly sharper scissors. I've got some extra bits that we got from somebody there, and shamefully I don't remember. I know that the lady from Dewdrop Inn called in and gave us some little bits and pieces, and I suspect that they might have come from her, but they're not, they probably would go, so I'll just have to think about it. A bit of that one might actually go. I'm just keeping everything nearby. It's just that it's so dark. I can't decide. There's another bit there. Looks like a William Morris bunnies and squirrels on it. But I was kind of thinking maybe a bit of that reddy colour without the dark. I'll think about that one. All right. Cool. So I'm going to add, the way that I did this was I thought about adding darker colours sort of around the outside of his body and then paler ones on his tummy. And I'm going to do much the same here. I'm going to worry about the wings in a minute. So just kind of doing it much the same way, tracing little bits of little bits of fabric that will give me a shape. So I'm going to just do it this way. And I don't really worry too much about the size, like I said. It'll just kind of get itself sorted eventually, and if I need to trim bits off, I will. But there's one little bit. I might have a bit of that one because I'm trying to make them different, so I'm keeping this one nearby so that I make sure that I don't repeat myself, just to give them a little bit of difference while they're sitting there together. The way that the bird was on the lid of Corrine's sample was the bird was sitting on a branch. But I think in relation to the size of my houses, a branch is going to be, I know the birds are ridiculously out of proportion, but I think a branch is even taking it that one step further again. And so it's one of those things, again, that I'm kind of having a bit of a thought about. I don't know what I want to do yet. Let's have a bit of that colour in there. Maybe this one. Yeah, I think this one. I'm going to tuck it in underneath. Ish, somewhere underneath. It doesn't take too long to do. It's just fiddly. And if you've watched me in the past, you know I don't mind fiddling at all. Actually, I think I like that better for, I said I was going to do pale for his tummy. I think that needs to be more tummy colour. Yep. All right, let's see if I can get that a little bit more rounded, because I didn't. And I've probably got another bit I could use, but just going to round him off a little bit. Yep. All right, a wing. I really like this one. I think it's got a little bird on it. All right. Let's have a bit of a wing shape here. What you could do, if you've got a bird shape, you could cut it out. Where's the pattern? You could cut all these little bits out if you were worried about how to manage that. I'm happy for it not to be so, oh, you know, that, see all that fluffy bit there? Yeah, I think we need that. I'll cut that bit off there. That's just like the bit that, yeah, perfect. Look at that. Very good. All right, he probably needs another wing in a similar colourway. All right, that bit can, you can have that. Oh, probably doesn't need it to look like that. You know, the fluff goes the wrong way. No, that looks silly. All right, not that bit. I'm going to get rid of all of that. Yeah, and we're going to have it not fluffy on this side. I like the fluff on the other, but not this side. I'm going to bury that. I mean, it'll end up being a bit fluffy anyway, because I want to put a bit of that lace over the top of it. So he can have his wing tucked under there. All right, tail feathers. I think I'm going to add a bit of this. It's very old. It's just like pulling apart. I'm going to trim it, but I think you can have a bit of that there as well. Just breaks away. And then I'll trim those bits. Some bits I don't trim till after I've stitched. All right, a head colour, a head bit. What about that one? You could have that for his head. Could have a flower on his head. No, don't think so. What other colours do I have in here? Oh, yep, I've got a bit of that greeny spot. Yeah, I think I'll have a bit of that in there. I've done this sort of fabric collage on a lot of things now because I just love it. I love doing it. I love fiddling around with it. I love creating my own something or other rather than cut it out of one piece of something. All right, now I want that to come up over there. I think he can have, that's his wing. Now tail. See, he's coming together. All I did was cut out tiny little brown circles for his eyes. I can do that one. What did I use? Did I use that? A bit of that. So with the eyes, I've got a little rectangle folded in half, and then if you're worried about cutting a circle out, draw it. But I've got this little dingle dangle and that's a bit getting in my way. But if you just spin the thing, hold the sort of scissors kind of still, spin the thing around, whatever it is, you can kind of get a circle-ish. If it's too big, we can keep going. I think it might be a bit big. Let's cut it a little bit smaller. And if the bits that you're stitching down you're worried about, you could glue them just with one of those fabric little glue stick things if you're worried about them moving around while you're trying to stitch it. Yeah, you could glue them. One little eye there. Really didn't measure it. It was fine. A beak, a beak. Yeah, let's do a beak out of that. Teeny tiny little bits. What sort of, I did him like a little, maybe he can just have, we can come in a bit sharper, get that beak shape. Yep, all right, can we cut that pointy bit off there? Good. Tail feathers. What will I do for tail feathers? I'm just being awkward about not trying to introduce too much. It would be good if he had separate tail feathers, I think. No, I think I'll keep on with this. Be good to get a bit of that colour in there. How about that bit there? And then I can just, good, knocked all those bits off. Eyes and beaks and things flying in all directions. I'll make sure the bit of fabric tucks in. Oh, and he's got a top knot too. Forgot about that bit. All right, and his tail can hook in inside underneath there. Might point those up a bit so that they look a bit more like feathers. There's his little tail, and I'll put some lines in here with embroidery thread. Top knot, what do you want for a top knot, little birdie? Yeah. Oh no, see, I used that. That's what I'll use. Good. Glad I thought of that. I've got a little tin of goodness here. Let's see if there's anything better that I want to use in here. Just looking to see if there's anything. I used some of this in the brownie colour for his wings. I just remembered. Here, do you want the same top knot? Maybe I can find a different colour in there. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you can have that. All right, we're going to do that in a minute. Or do I want to catch it in? All right, I do. I want to catch it in under there. All right, you can have that bit. And what other colour would you like? What about this dark browny colour one? Yep. Okay. This is just funny wool with a bobble on it. I would hate to knit with this. Ooh. I don't think that would be very easy. I've lost an eye. Oh, here it is. And maybe just another bit of that browny colour, goldy colour rather. Quite like that. Yes, it wouldn't be my favourite bit of something to knit with, that's for sure. All right, good. I'm going to get the glue stick, wherever that is, and start stitching. Looks a bit like a bit of a crazy mess, but anyway, I think we're getting there. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to hold things in place till I get needle and thread sorted. That's a wing. And the wings do need to go in, or this one does, because it's got to tuck in underneath. It's got to hop in there. Little eyes, just hold on. I'm not ready for you yet. Okay. Do I want it like that? Yes. All right. I want the pale bit in first. I mean, lots of people do this sort of stuff. You know, you could probably find others that do it. I know that Mandy Petullo does some in her work. Somebody that I definitely have admired. Ah, that's just like too big, isn't it? Hop over there for a second, you lot. I might just get rid of that. Because that was too long. Now his little head. Yeah, I was going to go over the top of it all. Ooh, an eye. Good. Doesn't take me very long to get in a bit of a muddle here. Did I stick that one down? No. Just adding a little bit of glue here and there. And then, and this is the wing. And that's going to go on top of there. And I've got fibres everywhere now from that wool. Yeah. An eye. A beak. Good. All right, and then his little top knots can go in as I'm stitching his head down. I'll tuck them in. From memory, I don't know whether I actually did. Oh yeah, I did. Good. Okay, I'll just stay there for a minute, please. I didn't really want to stick glue on there. That's all right. I'm going to catch it with a thread, with a needle and thread. I've got a fairly thin needle because they're teeny tiny bits, and if I start poking great big holes in it, it's not, you know, I'm going to make it deteriorate even more. I'm just going to pick a neutral colour that is just going to disappear. I'll put the lid on that and the lid on that. Sorry. Paul coming home. Camera's picked him up in the driveway. Probably should have had my phone on silent. He'll come in chattering away to me, I suppose. Oh, got glue everywhere. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do, and then I might put you on hold because you've just been watching me for half an hour. All right, so I'm going to tuck those in there, and then I can, you know, they're there. Oh, a knot would help. A knot would go down well. But I just thought it would be nice to share my process with you prior to getting it done. You know, the project is Corrine's project, but this was something that I decided to do just simply because it went with my you know, the design that I already had in the houses, and thought a bigger patchwork bird, while gorgeous, probably wasn't going to go so well with what I was doing. So all I'm doing is a little tiny overcast stitch around the edges, and then I probably will go, what I did was I went in amongst the pieces to hold them down, just so that we didn't lose them, and they kind of look not really feathery, but they don't look out of place, is what I'm trying to say. I'm thinking that wing just needs to go on a slightly different angle. Good. All right, I'm going to keep going here. If I zip down to the wing and show you what I'm going to do there, and then you'll know. And then when I've got it all stitched, I'll come back and talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to finish it off. I don't mind that his head colour comes down, and some of that body colour is, you know, well hidden, but it all adds to the overall picture. All right, now this wing keeps moving around. A bit high there, needs to go down there a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a running stitch straight through it, because some of it is very fibrous-y and it's just going to fall apart. All right, I'm going to cut those long dangly bits off. I just wanted to get it stitched on first before I cut into it. And then when I come back and do the outlining, the wings and things will become a little bit more evident. And because the houses are in that sketchy look, I'm happy to do the outlining for this. Might not be something I'd always do, but just for it to sit in the same, to have a similar look about it as a sketch. Okay, nearly there. And what I do with these bits is just sort of, you know, tuck them with the needle, catch them with a thread so that they stay there and they still add to that overall effect as well. I don't want to trim them all off and make them all neat and tidy. I just want them to still be there, but I want them to stay there. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. Good. All right, I'm going to go and keep working on this and I'll come back to you shortly. So that's sort of like 40 minutes. You know, it's probably a bit long, but I just wanted to show you that process as a whole and I'll be back very shortly. Okay. Yep, I'm nearly done. I've caught down all the little bits, so hopefully you can see those little spidery stitches all around everything, all around the outside edge. Here I haven't completed this bit because I thought I'm just going to come back for another few more minutes and talk to you. So, you know, do a double check, you know, did any bits fall off? I noticed that I hadn't caught this side of the wing in, so I'm going to do that little bit and the tail. I've looked for some embroidery threads to do the finishing touches, and really this little bird, well, it's not an hour yet. I've just been sitting here fiddling around with it, and I don't know, I think the first bit was 30 minutes, was it, or 40 minutes? Can't remember now. I'll keep it, maybe it was 40. Keep a little check on this bit, and I probably spent 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes stitching all these bits down. I have stitched the little top knot down. I've added little stitches just going across those fibres just to hold that down. Oh yeah, I haven't gone around here yet at all. That's his body bit there. But I think he's turned out all right. He looks quite good. He might be a bit fatter than the other fella. I don't know. But anyway, we'll just see. And they'll probably go together anyway. And like I said, I've still got to do legs yet. They need legs, but I just didn't know where I wanted to position them. They're certainly not going to sit on top of a building. They're too big for that. They're going to sit off to the side where I had it on the top of the box. So, yeah, they're not going to be perched up on top of a building. I think that'll be a bit crazy. Yep, can have a bit more thread in there. Sorry. I went quiet then. It happens occasionally. And that means I can now take this with me, and for the next couple of days, well, actually it's not going to be, today's Monday and we're not going till tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon anyway. It's very exciting tomorrow. Tomorrow I am taking my mum to our brand spanking new Spotlight that opened. Woohoo! Now, we've been here for 3 years, and maybe for the first year that we were here, we had a little haberdashery shop where you could buy a needle and thread, and she had all sorts of funny things, not your sort of modern type of sewing shop, but I got my sewing machines serviced there. They did that. I was able to pick up some crafty sort of materials from her. She had a little bit of fabric. I don't remember buying fabric from her. I got felt, for something. But she did have blades for my rotary cutter, and then she had sort of sewing machine needles. So, yeah, funny things. She's gone. She's been gone for a while now. And nowhere here in my town or the next town, which is bigger, could I even buy a needle and thread. There's nowhere to buy it. Kmart might have had something. I don't know, it's probably like a sewing kit or something. So, yeah, it opened last week, which we didn't get a chance to go to, but tomorrow I said to my mum I'll go and pick her up and we'll go to Spotlight. It's so exciting. I'm excited about Spotlight. Mate, you never know, they might have a good bargain on. They've got a few other bigger name stores that have opened in the same complex. So, yeah, we'll be stepping into the modern age. Gosh, we don't have that sort of stuff in this little country town. And, it's silly because we're not that country. I mean, we're quite, it's quite established town. It's not farming community in town. We've got a lot of housing has gone up. They've taken over the farmland. But, yeah, for the amount of people that live here, it's silly, really. The lack of what we've got as far as shopping is concerned. Supermarkets, and that's about it. A couple of supermarkets. All right, I found a little bit of, from my embroidery orts, some thread that's going to work for the tail feather. And I outlined this one in black. And I did it because some of the houses are in black. And I thought afterwards it was a bit harsh. So I've got some brown out. It's actually part of the kit. Let me think about, I might do, a feather stitch maybe. I think this is called feather stitch. Probably hard for you to see. Let me get it in focus. Oh, there. See those little stitches there and there? Yeah. Probably a bit too hard to see. And that's what I'm going to do there. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to come down here on the other side. It's just probably just, I don't know where to hold it for you. No, you're not going to see it. Oh, if I have a bit better light, let me see now. No, because it just blended straight in. Nah, I'm being silly. But yes, I think it is called feather stitch. Flies with a Y. I've remembered that one finally. It's only taken me all my life to remember it. So I think this one's feather, which goes off in an angle. It's kind of like it does a sort of like still a scoopy thing, but then this one goes this way and then this one goes that way. So that's kind of what it looks like in stitching. So yeah, I think it's called feather, that one. Hopefully I've got it right. I'll have another little strand of it. These are some threads that I dyed myself, so I'm hanging on to them because they're just, for these sort of embroideries, you sometimes only need just like a tiny little weeny bit. And so I've collected myself a pile of orts that I can continue to use. Good. All right. I'll do the outlining in a second, show you how I went about that. It's kind of just like a messy stem stitch is the way that I do it, so that I've got bits, you know, it's not so perfectly neat like a running stitch would be or a back stitch. Let me just do these couple. It's like an open chain, but you come down one way, one side, and then and do it the reverse and come on the other side. Yep. Good. 2 little rows of feather stitch, and that's done. Oh, something this small doesn't take long to do. Overall, it's about he's not with the top knot. He's not 3 inches. He's barely, and sort of across his belly, just over 2 as well at his widest bit. So yeah, he's little. He's not giant, but he's not, he's not ridiculously small. All right, I'll have some of this, and I'm just going to use a single thread because I think 2 is too much, because I just want it as an outline. I don't want it to be a feature really, but I want it to help him to stand out a bit more against everything else. Although this one actually, you can see the detail a bit more, where the other one, by the time I'd finished it, you really couldn't see the detail all that well. So yeah, I'm just going to do a fairly messy stem stitch. I'm not going to be too fussy, too particular about it, except that I don't want to catch his top knot in there. Oh, he might need black. I was thinking he wouldn't need black, but we'll do it and then see what we think. See if we think it needs black. I probably prefer the brown, if I want to be quite honest about it. And, he's different. He doesn't have to be exactly the same. So I'm just coming right on the edge. Right on the edge, so it even does a little bit of a disappearing act. I'm going to come down here because that was his body down there. And then we'll come back to where the top of his wing is, and we'll come down over there. Good. All right. Well, I hope you hope this is a bit of inspiration for you, and something that I find fun to do. I like creating my own almost fabric, if you like. I quite enjoy the look of it, so that I'm not cutting out of one piece of fabric. All right, just going to put a bit of definition in there as a feather sort of shape. I haven't got anything to follow other than this, you know, original shape there. This is sort of catching in all those fibres. Go around his wing here. With that stem stitch, sometimes it just needs a bit of, you know, holding down. A bit sharp. I might actually take the chance to get another bit. Yep, I'll come in over here and pull that over there so that it just makes it a bit rounded. Good. All right, I think you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do a little French knot in his eye, and I'll come back when I'm just about to be done. Okay. The last couple of stitches to do, just around the little wing here. I've done his eyes. To put a couple of extra little just stitches in there, designate some feathers around this little bit of wing here. So this was a very quick project, just a little thing to do project. It didn't take me very long at all to do, having done one already. I suppose I knew what I was doing. Yeah, and that's his other little wing. There he is. Come up a bit closer to you. Looks like he's got starburst eyes. But when you see it up that close, you see it. But when you see it far away, you don't see it. Or far away, it's not that far. But I think I'm happy with the brown outline. This one is black, but I'm all right with the brown. I think he looks okay. I wasn't sure to start with, because I wasn't sure whether it was going to stand out enough. But I think it is. So that's good. Cool. All right, so then what I just did with the other one was just cut it out. I've left myself a little bit of leeway as to what I might want to do, because I don't know what I want to do. And until I start stitching it on to the top of the piece or work out exactly where it's going to go, I don't really know if I want to leave that outline around him, or get rid of it altogether. There we go. Two little quirky birds. Just need some legs, that's all. Good. Okay, I hope you thought this was an okay project to do. They're going to go on this front panel here somewhere together. And I think they're okay, even though they're giant birds compared to the house. I think they're still all right. Cool. I don't know about this. I'm not sure if I'm leaving that there. It's pinned at the minute, but none of them. He is a little bit fatter than that one, but still good. Okay. I'll catch you again in another video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now.